Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. This video is going to be very special because Nexon just dropped a bombshell of an announcement for the upcoming June 11th summer patch here in GMS. They announced a brand new class that you can see here. This is a class that existed on Maple M, which is the mobile MapleStory game. Sia Astelle, she's going to be introduced into our version of the game, GMS, the main MapleStory game, as a new class on June 11th. They also announced a brand new system called Erda Link, which we also have to talk about, and I'm very, very excited to tell you all of the information that we know about this. I was freaking out on my stream last night when this dropped in real time. I'm going to tell you everything that we know, and you guys let me know what you think is going to happen, what you think of this Erda Link system, what you think Sia is going to be like. Is she going to be good or whatnot? Let me hear your thoughts about it. And of course, make sure you subscribe and pull up to the live stream so that you could stay up to date and watch all the new videos that are going to be coming out. There's so many videos lined up, tier lists, guides, tips, showcases, all this types of stuff is lined up, all coming for the summer patch. So make sure you subscribe, tell people to pull up. And of course, you could also join the Discord where you could talk to the community, share your thoughts, ask questions, all that kind of stuff. Anyways, let's start out with this video that Nexon dropped on their official MapleStory channel. So basically, they dropped this video of Sia, right? It's like an animated video. Of course, I'm going to have a link down below if you want to watch it. And it's basically her with her little constellation spirit wolf thing. I think she's actually voiced by Lily Pichu as well, which is crazy. So shout out Lily. And she has a really, really cool looking weapon as well. Like initially, I thought this was an arcane weapon. It might be an arcane weapon. I'm not 100% sure, but I think this is just her weapon as well. It kind of reminds me of Freeren's staff. So just visually, like looking at Sia, like I think she looks very interesting. Like she looks like cool looking character, has a really nice looking weapon, nice design, all that kind of stuff, right? But then when we look at some of her skills, like her gameplay, right? So let's watch this part of the video. You can see that she has a lot of like really wide range AoE attacks, right? And her theme is like blue and white. It's about the constellation. It's about the stars and stuff like that. She has these like big giant summons as well. Like you see there's like a giant anchor here. There's like an hourglass. There's like this person here that throws like cards or something or stars. And you could see she has this like wheel. She has this like wheel that has all these different constellations on it, right? And all of her different summons. And then she also has her origin skill, which is this over here. Dude, it's like a whole animation for her origin, which also looks pretty crazy. So what we know about her, since she's a class on MapleStory M, something that I want to tell you guys is you can't take everything on MapleStory M and equalize it for our version of the game, because MapleStory M is technically a different game. So it has different functions. Some skills might work differently. Like a lot of classes on MapleStory M are not the exact same as how they are on global MapleStory. So yes, we can learn a lot from MapleStory M, but I wouldn't just take it at face value and just think like, okay, it's going to be literally one-to-one exactly how Maple M is for MapleStory. Now, something that I think is going to be true about Sia is a few things that I've gathered, right? The first thing is I think she is definitely going to be a support mage class, because on MapleStory M, she is a support. So I think she's also going to be a support on global MapleStory. The difference in MapleStory M and global MapleStory is supports on MapleStory M, correct me if I'm wrong, are more stereotypically supportive, like how MMOs usually are, where a support doesn't do too much damage, but they offer a lot to the party. But global MapleStory, that's not the case. A support has to do a lot of damage because there's a lot of solo bossing involved in global MapleStory, or a lot of really low-cut damage clears where you actually need a lot of damage. So Sia herself is probably going to be outputting a lot more damage in our version of the game relative to MapleStory M. The second thing goes back to this whole constellation wheel. Is, to my understanding, she is a combo mage class similar to like Evan, for example, where you can combine different constellations to get different types of skills. So what that tells me is she's probably going to be a little hard to play for most people. I don't think she's going to be a super simple, easy to play class. I think she's going to require some skills to play, which is a really good thing. Like that's not a bad thing. That is a good thing because in my opinion, I think it gives a lot of skill ceiling, which makes it so that people who invest a ton of time into the class can actually feel like they're being rewarded for playing the class. Whereas if you play something that's very simple, somebody who plays it for a week versus somebody who plays it for a year, I mean, there's not going to be too much of a difference. Sia also has a flash jump and a teleport, so she has both, similar to how Blaze Wizard has like a flash jump and also a teleport. Same with Lara. Lara kind of has a teleport but also flash jump, so it's just another one of like these flash jump type mages. Something that's very important to talk about when it comes to Sia is her Link skill, right? So a lot of people are talking about this. If you look over here, it says Sia's Link skill, 1% final damage, 10% final damage with buff, 10 seconds. Level 2, 2% final damage, 10% with buff, 10 seconds. So what does that mean? Basically, Sia's Link skill on MapleStory M, let me make that clear, on MapleStory M, gives you 2% final damage, but when you activate the skill, you get another 10% final damage for 10 seconds. So it's very similar to how Angelic Buster's Link skill works, where you press the skill, you get a buff, right? Problem is, not only is this a very, very strong Link skill, and I'm not really opposed to us getting a strong Link skill, like sure, give us a strong Link skill. Problem is, if you look at all the other Link skills, like look at all these other Link skills for all these other classes, right? They're not the same as Global MapleStory at all. Like none of them are the same. None of them are the same at all. They're all completely different to what Global MapleStory's Link skills are for all of these classes. So what that tells me is there's a pretty good chance that this Link skill gets adjusted for our server. It might not be the exact same one. I don't say that as a doomer. I'm just saying, look at this chart that shows all the Link skills for MapleStory M. They're literally like all different than what we have on GMS. So could be the same. Honestly, I want it to be the same. Like, I'm always for getting more damage for free. Like, why not? But I wouldn't walk around saying like, yes, we're getting 12% final damage. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, who knows, right? This is the MapleStory M page for when Sia got released. Of course, I'm going to leave this in the description as well, but it shows a bunch of her skills. It shows what her weapon looks like, what her secondary looks like. I think these are going to be the same. Like, I think she's going to have a celestial light weapon and a compass secondary. Maybe she can equip a shield like how it is in GMS, and her skills are probably going to be like the same named skills, the same abilities, the same effects and stuff like that. It's probably going to be about the same. Maybe the cooldowns won't be the same or the damage output won't be the same, but the gist of it will probably be the same. So I'm going to link this down below as well. So let me know what you think about Sia down below in a comment. I'm very, very, very excited to read what you guys think about her. I probably am going to play her. I don't know if she's going to be hyper burned. Nobody knows any of these things. Like, if you're going to ask, like, is she going to be hyper burned? What are the words for playing her? Like, nobody knows any of these things. We're going to have to wait until June 11th for the patch to come out. If I were to guess, like, gun to my head, I have to put money on it. I would say she at least is going to have her own level up rewards for playing her. I do want to play her, obviously, just to experience her. I mean, it's essentially a brand new class, right? Like, that's pretty exciting. Like, there hasn't been a new class in a very long time. I know Mo Shen, but like technically Mo Shen has existed in Taiwan for a long time. But what I mean by new class is like, wasn't in any GMS or official MapleStory server ever, right? It was just in Maple M, which is like essentially a whole different game. But yeah, let's continue with, this with part was so chills, I ain't gonna lie. Erda Link. Now, this is a brand new system that I'm assuming is going to be added to our game. Like, that's what I think it is. So we have never seen this anywhere. Like, this has not been seen in the Korean server or anything like that. And I hear so many speculations about this, but let's just talk about the facts. Let's talk about what we know 100%. So we know that this is something that's going to be added to our server, right? It got announced with Sia. It's something that got added to our server and seems to be unique for us only, because I really, really, really doubt that the global MapleStory would leak something before Korea. Like, if this was a Korean system, I really, really doubt that global MapleStory would announce it before Korea. Like, that seems pretty much impossible. Like, that seems very bad for business too, to be honest with you. So I just don't think they would do that. So I believe that this is some sort of power / resource increase for us in global MapleStory, custom built for us. Now, there are some theories on what this can be. So for example, somebody sent me this screenshot of somebody saying this on Reddit about a system that exists on MapleStory M that looks similar to this one. So basically, he's saying that it's similar to Artifact with various buffs to stats. Unique skills are the following: in this system, this is not the Erda Link. This is something that is on MapleStory M that is similar to Erda Link that people are theorizing is what's going to be. But I want to make that absolutely clear. I'm not sitting here saying like this is exactly what we're going to get, right? So Soul Erda fragment drop rate 20%, item drop base 20%, unique boss item acquired. So like a boss drops plus 20%, which is strange because Maple M doesn't have pitch like that. So it's like this system wouldn't make sense on Maple M. And then cooldown reduction up to -2 seconds. Now we're going to talk about this in a little bit because let's just drink all the copium and assume that like we do get -2. It has crazy implications for the entire balance of the whole game, right? And then various stats, ID boss up to 25%, 25 stat and attack. But let's just put this on the side for now. This is what some people are theorizing this could be. Who knows though? But if we actually look at it, right? If we look at it, you'll see that it says like all stat percent here, like all percent. This says luck. This says meso, seems like a meso increase. This says int. This might say crit damage. This has like a shield that's breaking, so it could be IED. This kind of looks like boss damage. This kind of looks like damage percent, right? So it's like, it seems to be some sort of system that gives us power, right? Whether it's through boss or stats or whatever, and more resources, whether it's through a meso increase or maybe it's normal monster damage like increase. It seems to just give us more power and more resources, right? And it also seems to be costing fragments. So you can see this person in whatever example this is says 611 fragments, but I wouldn't assume that it's only fragments. It might cost Soul Erda as well because your Soul Erda is also being displayed here. Now it costs 2 fragments. This is probably like a really cheap cost. Now, some of you who might be watching this are going to be like early game players, right? And you might think like, oh my God, I'm going to need even more fragments. Like I could barely even level up my masteries. I could barely even unlock Soul Janus, right? Now, the thing is, when you reach much later into the game, similar to how nodes are, you eventually don't need fragments anymore and you just have thousands and thousands and thousands of extra, right? So adding a new way to spend fragments is not a bad thing. It's actually a really good thing because now you have more options. I always feel like more options for power is always a good thing as long as you're being guided correctly, which of course I will have a lot of guides on the system once it comes out and we know exactly how it works. So that's what I think this is. I think this is some sort of new power system. Don't know if it's going to be per character or if it's going to be for your whole account. I have no idea, but I guess we're going to see how that works long term. Of course, I'm going to have a lot of follow-up videos about this. So let's go back and talk about -2 seconds, right? Like cooldown reduction -2. Now, I said earlier that this could have crazy implications on the game. So let's say theoretically you can get an additional -2 seconds of cooldown on this, whether it's per character or whether it's on your whole account. All of a sudden, certain classes will become much more OP. Let me tell you why. First, we have to establish where does the game balancing come from? The game balancing comes from the Korean server, right? For those who don't know, the game balance comes from the Korean server. Almost all of the balancing across the board for all the classes comes from the Korean server. Almost all of it. Like the non-Korean classes don't come from the Korean server, but the Korean classes, which is the vast majority of them, like 46 classes, come from the Korean server, right? So because it comes from a Korean server, which does not have heroic/reboot, like they don't have that, right? It means that they have bonus potential. Since they're a purely interactive or reg server that you can trade, they have bonus potentials. And because they have bonus potentials, they're able to get more cooldown on classes. So because the balance comes from a server that has more potentials than we do, it means they could get more cooldown, right? And because they could get more cooldown reduction on their hat, that means you're going to have DPS charts and balancing based off of gear that we in our server cannot get. So for example, Cadena with -5 have Fire Poison with -5, Evan with -5. Some classes even -6 like Mechanic. Some classes will even have -6 as well, like Fire Poison or whatever other classes, right? -5 on Kaiser, Phantom, Xenon. These -5s on these DPS charts are not something that we can get in the reboot world or heroic worlds realistically. Like some might say like, oh yeah, technically you can get it, but it's like realistically you won't, right? So the balancing is based off of this. It's based off of the fact that certain classes can get -5, -6, or even -7, right? Like something crazy like that. So if we were to theoretically get another -2 cooldown from this system, it would make it so that our balancing is actually even more accurate based off of the KMS data. And it would make a lot of classes way stronger. Like Fire Poison, for example, would become insanely strong now all of a sudden. Many other classes too, like Mechanic would gain a lot of damage and whatnot. A lot of these cooldown hack classes would just get way stronger if you get another -2 dual blade too. So the implications of this are crazy because now it makes us almost on a similar playing field as the reg server players when it comes to our cooldown reduction, which is very important. Anyways, obviously, if you enjoyed this video, definitely subscribe. Let me know what you think about it. Pull up to the live stream. There's going to be a lot more videos on Sia. There's going to be a lot more videos on Erda Link, the new systems, the new updates, everything. So make sure you subscribe, share the videos, help each other out, and I'll see you guys around. Appreciate you guys for watching. Have a wonderful day. Shout out to my members: Blazefire, Shooms, Shagad, Ravi Espa, Koga, Skittles, Dante Victory, CK, Jay, Kyle, Vampiric X, Fresh and Juicy, Assassin, Henzo, Henrique, and Kelvin. I appreciate you guys so much. And thank you everybody who submitted fan art. You can always submit it in the Discord and it'll be put at the end of every video. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.